Welcome to Let's Make a Game Platformer. In last episode, I've added this object window here that allows me to place objects on the scene, and the outline that is being rendered depends on the shape of the actual object that's going to be placed. So that's pretty cool now. However, at the moment, I can only place objects and the blocks within this one frame, and there's no way for me to move the camera or the scene, depending how you look at it. And also, I can only place objects within the Z layer. So today I'd like to change this, and to do that, I'll be modifying the camera, first of all, to allow to move left and right, and left, right, up and down, and also I'll be modifying the camera and the placing system that will basically allow me to place stuff in the other Z layer, depending on how deep within the screen I am. Okay, so let's start working on it. First of all, I'd like to work on moving the scene or the camera, depending how you look at it. And this is done at the moment. If you take a look at the editor rendering entity, it's using navigable camera component. However, I have to say I don't really like this. So if you take a look at the menu rendering entity, I have fixed camera component. And they specify the location. What I'm thinking about is unifying these two and have some kind of location camera component. And both of this menu context and the editor context should be using this, except in the editor context we'll be modifying the values here because that's what we actually want to do. So let me maybe first of all find these two classes. So the fixed camera component, let me find it, and the navigable camera component as well. So they're in two different places. So what I'd like to do here to put them in the common, because they'll be using the same one. So in here I'll have camera, and let's call it defined camera component, because I'll specify all the stuff that is defined in the camera itself. So it's going to be an interface. It's going to extend the component, and it will have so I can use the vector 3, the way I showed in last episode, that now we can have these very simply defined. And I will have get location. I will have look at and up position. And I'll do a setters for these as well. Set location. Maybe you can call it location, not vector 3. Location, set look at, and set up. Okay, so I'll have these three, and I will need to have a defined camera system. It's going to be registered. I will have them in all profiles. That's because actually I will not have them in all. I'll specify which ones will have them. So it will be in profiles. It has to be many. And how do I do this? Let me think for a second. Actually, I will have it in the, because I want it in on context, I will have it in the parent context. That's why it will be available in on contexts. Okay, and here I will have a similar to fixed camera system. Perspective camera, we update this. Instead, I'll use here the find camera component. Get location. The find camera get look at, and the find camera get up. Okay, so I have these, and now I will modify. I can delete these two. I will not be using them. This one and this one. And instead, these two entities that are responsible for rendering will have the defined camera component. So the menu rendering component will have these. Let's say 8. It's going to be location, is it? Yes, location, look at and up. Location 008, look at 000, and up 010. Okay, and for the editor rendering, I'll have the same thing for the time being. So let me run it and make sure that everything is working. So menu is working and the editing is also working fine. Okay, now I'll add something that allows me to move the camera in the editor part. So in the controls, I will have keyboard editor control. Profiles, game screen, editor, and keyboard. Probably the mouse control should have a mouse in here. And the desktop launcher should be passing also. So in here I have to pass an arise as list, keyboard, and mouse. So this is the controls that the desktop launcher, the desktop game has. Keyboard and mouse requires mouse, keyboard requires keyboard. And what we want to do is when I receive event maybe let's do here a inject rendering entity provider. Key pressed. And let's maybe take a look at the keyboard control system here. I'll have these. Now let me just copy everything for the time being. I definitely can do it better than this. So we'll have left keys, right keys will have up keys. It's going to be up, and input keys W is going to be up as well, and we'll have down keys. It's going to be down and S. Okay, we don't need jump sound. We will not have apply movement. Instead, we'll have key pressed. Let me take a look at the key typed. I think is going to be what we not corrected. No, so key down. Okay, and then we do rendering entity provider. Get rendering entity. let's do rendering entity get component, defined camera component. And then if we do if key down, if is any pressed left keys, so any pressed, so key down has a key code. You don't need these. Left keys and key down get key code. So if left is pressed, we have to move the camera to the left. And to the move to the left, we have to subtract 1 from X. Maybe I'll do location X minus equals 1 and define camera set location and rendering entity save change. I also have to modify the look at, define camera get look at, and do the same changes, the same change. How can I make it smarter? X change, Y change, is any pressed? I'll do X change minus 1. If is any pressed, right keys, key code, X change equals 1. If is any pressed, up keys, key code, Y change minus 1. Else if is any pressed, down keys, key code, Y change 1. And finally here, if X change not 0 or Y change is not 0, we do define camera get location, define camera get look at, location X plus equals X change, location Y plus equals Y change, and the same to the look at. X plus equals X change, look at, Y plus equals Y change, and now setters, define camera set location, define camera set look at. We're not modifying the up direction because we always want to have up in the up direction. And finally, rendering entity save changes. Okay, I think that should allow me to move. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so let's place a couple of blocks to have some. Okay, I can now move up and down. Okay, I think so. Up is moving me in the wrong direction, so I have to reverse them. So up key should be moving me to and minus equals 1. It should be 1 and here minus 1. Let me check that. Because if I move up, I want to move camera up, yeah, to the positive Y direction, yes. That makes more sense. So let me place a stone to have a reference. I'm pressing up key now. Yeah. And the same with the W and S and left, right. Okay, now I can place it anywhere I want and have a really big level. Okay, so that's good. So what we want to do next? Now I want to be able to move in the depth direction. And to move in the depth direction, I would like to use mouse scroll. So in the mouse editor controller, I'll do receive event, mouse scrolled, and so what we're gonna be doing is sending an event, not mouse scrolled, but move depth class. It's gonna be an event. And we'll have a value here, how many units depth. Constructor and a getter. So in here, I will have a rendering entity provider. Maybe I'll do it on the, yeah, rendering entity provider is a good one. Send new move depth and mouse scrolled get amount. Okay, and now in I'll create here a depth movement system. I'll register, and it's gonna work only in profiles, game screen, and editor. And in here I'll receive the event. The event was called move depth. We are sending it on the rendering entity, so it has the component, defined camera component. So what we want to do here is define camera get location, define camera get look at, and we want to do the same stuff on the Z. Move depth, get depth. Might have to be negative, we'll see how it goes. Depth, and the same for look at. Z depth plus equals depth. Finally, I want to save it. Set it first. Set location, define camera, set look at, and entity ref save changes. Okay, that's one thing. And another thing is in the placement system here. At the moment, I always first of all render and place stuff on the, wait a second, let me find it. So the mouse editor, I send a mouse track result. Okay, this is always Z equal to 0. And instead in here, Z coordinate, here it is. Coordinate. Yeah, so the Z coordinate is something that I want to have being modifiable. So float Z coordinate by default is going to be 0. So I will not have it here. And instead, I will have here amount Z coordinate plus equals amount. So let me run this. think that's all that has to be done. Let me check. So I'll place some blocks for reference, and I'll move the mouse. Okay, I can move now. Okay, so it's almost fine, except in here I think I have to do the minus amount. Make it larger, move this away, stone. Okay, I can place now stone. Okay, that looks good. Let's hope the same works here. See. Okay, unfortunately this scroll bar is catching over there unless I place something. I guess I'll have to take a look at it. And in this layer I want to place a lever. Yeah, okay. So that looks good. Well, it works good, except that there's a couple of problems here with navigation. But so I achieved what I wanted to achieve, at least for this level. There's a couple of fixes I may have to do. But probably I'll have to do some investigation of how to make sure that this doesn't get the scroll events. Okay, that's it for this episode. Make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye.